Something happened again. What happened? The military exercise around Taiwan will take place on October 14th. As long as the 80s generation fires, I will fire too. Madam, are you going to save that little Han? Or save that Wan Wan? Hello everyone, I am the Zen of Hearing. Today, let us continue from where we left off. It is said that there is some turmoil on the Korean peninsula, and the mastermind behind it is the United States. The reason it is stirring up trouble on the Korean peninsula is still due to economic issues. It recently lowered interest rates, right? This interest rate cut, capital is flowing into our country. Think about Encircle Wei. The government industry is hollowing out. Sing's manufacturing industry was already weak. All that is left are the service sector and Sing's financial industry. Now, this is good news. The financial war has also been lost, forced to cut interest rates, just lowered by 750 basis points. What was the result? When we meet, we do not play fair. We launched a ballistic missile at him. When Sing Capital saw this, they decided to run. It is better for us to go to a safe place. By the end of September, financial capital started flowing into China, causing a surge in the A share market. Can Xing Depiao really let it go? You can't let your capital run away. Come back to me. I never had a manufacturing industry anyway. If the capital runs away again, what am I supposed to do? It will be like turning into a third world country. So this big beauty, in early October, right around this National Day, during our holiday, started leaking news, saying they would continue to raise interest rates, claiming last month's non-farm payroll data was inaccurate, that we misread it. So we still have to raise interest rates. Isn't that just shameless? You can't beat AI. Just admit you misread it before. It is just like playing chess with Zing. You are in the middle of the game and suddenly realize something's seriously wrong. I made a wrong move before. Come on, come back. This is called a regret move. So you see, when he plays chess, you also have to consider character. There is a saying that placing a piece is like planting roots, but Da Piao does not care about that. Anyway, I also don't have any statistics bureau or anything. I can change at any time. Actually, the whole world is the same, as long as it has been made public. It is all meant for you to see. This world is all the same. What you hear is actually what others want you to see. What you hear, what is real, you still have to explore it on your own. Everyone sees the world differently. This is called one flower, one world, one leaf, one Bodhi. Look, I have started talking about Buddhism again. Alright, let us get back. Let us continue. This beauty here. Hold on to international financial capital. Don't let the capital escape abroad. He not only falsified non-farm employment data, but also ordered Korea to send drones to Pyongyang to attract the post-80s generation. These post-80s are inherently restless. Always remember their father's teachings to pursue the reunification of the peninsula. I can't find the entry point. Now that I look at it, well, you Korean, you got me a drone flying over me, buzzing around, and because it is a drone, it is hard to hit. I have not taken it down yet. Do you think I can tolerate this? It was just yesterday that they moved their big cannon right up to the border. They have already issued orders to fire at any time. I mentioned this in the last episode. I won't repeat it again. With this kind of move, the entire peninsula becomes unstable. As a result, it is not just the peninsula, but the whole Asia-Pacific region becomes unstable. What happens then is that international capital starts to stop flowing into China. Our stock market then falls. This is the reason for the big market crash. And some people say, Zing's market crashed. Wasn't it on October 13th? I remember it started falling on October 9th. Sigh, you see. Speaking of this, we have to risk revealing some secrets of the stock market. Actually, the stock market. I have mentioned this in my previous live streams. Whenever someone makes money, someone else has to lose money. Wealth can't just be created out of thin air. It only moves from Zhang San's pocket to Li Si's pocket. So Zhang San ends up losing. Li Si just made a profit. So if you want to make money trading stocks, the fundamental logic is that you need to outperform others. If you can't beat others, then do not bother. You are the one donating money. It is not about having strength or power, or being particularly tough. No, it is not luck either. It is about the speed of information. The faster you get information, the more likely you are to outcompete others. Just think, if on October 7th, you already knew the beautiful girl's purpose, what would you do? You must have sold those stocks on October 8th. Just look at the turnover rate on October 8th. You will see who was selling and who was buying. Many people jumped in on October 8th. After they bought in, the market started to plummet on October 9th. So those who rushed in on October 8th, just standing on the high pole now, then it is a loss. So he lost. Then who made the profit? That would be the person who received the news early. So if you have no relatives at the Federal Reserve, and you are not familiar with international politics, you only know how to study those K-line charts all day, then I advise you to stay away from the stock market. Sigh, look, we are talking about the economy again, and now we are back to discussing the U.S. as well. This series of combined measures successfully took effect on October 9th, causing international hot money to start withdrawing from the Chinese market. Has the hot capital flowed out? Was the capital originally intending to go into China's financial markets also stopped in their tracks? In a state of observation, you think that Panda just gave up? All right, you looker, you were playing dirty with me. You cut interest rates and even released holiday news abroad saying your economic data is good, preparing to raise interest rates. I won't say much about that. You even poked at South Korea's post-80s generation. Isn't that just stirring up trouble? Do you want to start a conflict on the peninsula to further drive away our financial capital? You have made a good move there. Well, are not you good at playing chess? Then it is my turn to make a move. Suddenly, the Panda issues an order. Starting at 5 a.m. on October 14th, they begin military exercises around Taiwan, codenamed 2024 Sword B. Hey, look, in the first half of the year, it was Sword A. In the second half, there are 7 Sword B exercises, just like the last time. It is also suddenly announced as a military exercise, and this time the suddenness is even more pronounced. Last time, Xing's joint operation, Sword 2024A, was decided to start a military drill in the early morning. The exercise began at 7:45 in the morning. This time, Xing was even more ruthless, deciding on a military exercise in the early morning of April 14th. The exercise started just after 5 a.m. From the decision to conduct the exercise to the start of the exercise, keeping it seamlessly connected to the street. Why do you think we suddenly have a military exercise? This area can only mean one thing. There are experts above. I am not just talking nonsense. Just think about how brilliant this move is. Look, I am telling you, America is spreading false information to prevent capital from flowing out. They are manufacturing fake news. This Korean guy born in the 80s wants to ignite the peninsula, dragging Panda into the chaos. This guy, Xing, born in the 80s, he also has a desire for war. After all, everyone wants to unify, right? Anyway, I made it very clear in electronic warfare, but what do we do then? Should we just let him do it? You are saying he is going to act? What should we do? Should we fight him too? If you do not fight, then it is your territory. Once the Xing gate opens, the Xing nation will be unstable. Look how beautiful and treacherous he is. They have experts over there too. So he is quite a formidable opponent for us. If we do not manage the gate opening, if we do manage it, it is a deep quagmire. If we advise the post-80s not to unify, Xing will fall right into the trap of sowing discord. So just look. If you were in my place, what would you do? This can be called a dead-end move. But we also have an expert. On October 13th, are not you guys going to fight on the peninsula? All right, you beauty. You are just watching the show from the sidelines, huh? Then I will give you a big surprise. On October 14th, the military exercises around Taiwan will take place. They will surround us early in the morning, around 5 a.m. That completely disrupted the smooth progress of their plans. Hey buddy, why did they mess up their well-planned steps? That is what you call a high-level move. You hit yours, I will hit mine. Didn't you poke at Xing Hangguo and the post-80s? Alright, I am not playing anymore. I will surround that bend. As long as the post-80s open fire, I will fire too. The Piaoliang, you pick one. Who are you saving, that little Han or that Wan? Don't tell me you are going to save both of them. You do not have the capability. Just look at your Asia. You do not even have a single aircraft carrier. You only have a landing ship. What are you pretending to be, Lightning? Does an aircraft carrier have combat capability? So you do your thing. I will do mine. Come on, take a good look at this beauty. If you are planning to do that, then I have to pick one. I definitely have to choose Korea. Can't choose why? Why is that? Xinghan has my military base. Are you really gonna fight? You destroyed my military base. Those 80s ballistic missiles are no joke either. I have heard they can reach my homeland. In this situation, he really dares to take out my military base. Then he took over my military base, United Korea. That situation won't improve either. The distance from Sing's home in South Korea to Benzi's house is just the Korea Strait. The narrowest part is 180 kilometers. There are many small islands in between, perfect for amphibious jumps. Benzi will definitely be scared in the future. Sing, from now on my presence in Asia is secure. That might be the problem, so I have to save Korea first. Sing, I am saving Korea first. What about your fantasies? I can't deal with them right now. Then won't the pandas be unified? The pandas will be unified. That is terrifying. From now on, Xing Panda will have the freedom to leap as it pleases. The sky is high, and birds can fly freely. I can no longer hold it back. You absolutely can't do that. I will save both Taiwan and Korea together, but I do not have the strength for that, even if I risk my life fighting on two fronts. Who is eating the number? Who is fighting on two fronts? Who is eating the number? By that time, it won't be about consuming pandas anymore. It will be about consuming me. So look at October 14th. We surrounded Taiwan. The entire board is alive. Look, right now we are conducting a military exercise. Xing Hangwo quickly became very polite. He started giving all kinds of explanations. Wei also fell silent. Why are those two so obedient? Their movements are so synchronized. Isn't that all because of orders from the big boss? So you see, this is an international incident. Xingdu is just like playing chess. What matters is the encounter of the right pieces, shaking the universe. The momentum surpasses the heavens. Half the children survive. Fortunately, the Panda family has experts. All right, that is all for today. Recently, international events have been quite turbulent. I will focus on these international issues to clarify things for everyone. Please follow me. The next episode will be even more exciting. Hello everyone, I am Ting Feng Dekan. Today we will continue from the last episode, talking about our country's ballistic missiles. In the last episode, we talked about the Dongfeng 7 and Dongfeng 2 on October 26, 1966. The final test launch was successful. At the time of the test launch, the warhead of this Dongfeng 2 has a nuclear yield of 12 kilotons. It is comparable to the nuclear bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I remember the little boy bomb had a yield of about 15 kilotons. That shows this weapon's power is solid. But the problem is the range. It can only hit about 950 kilometers. That makes things pretty complicated for you. Not only could you reach the US mainland, but you could not even reach Moscow. So at that time, our urgent task was to develop a missile with a longer range. Some might wonder, why did not China focus on developing its economy instead? Why insist on building nuclear missiles, still insisting on bombing the Americans and attacking Moscow? Isn't that just war and violence? Isn't it better to put effort into improving people's living standards? You see, many people have these doubts, and those who ask this question are mostly concentrated in the late 1990s. After the rise of the internet, they just started stirring things up online. Usually the ones who say this claim to be scholars. They think they are knowledgeable and cultured. They put on a pair of glasses. Whether you are an artist or a poet, everyone feels like a half-expert. What the hell do they understand? They just start commenting randomly. I remember that era. It was the late 90s, around 2010. If you did not throw in a few lines online, you would seem uneducated back then. Actually, people like that, they do not understand a thing. They completely do not understand history because they judge great figures based solely on their childhood impressions. And some people have taken bribes. Naturally, their perspective gets skewed. They say that back then, we were just soldiers and martial artists. Look at the international situation at that time. The two major enemies in the world, one is the Soviet Union, the other is the United States. Both want to mess with us. Since the founding of our nation, the US has never stopped its nuclear verification. They always want to perform some kind of surgery on us. You can see that their language is particularly arrogant. I am going to perform surgery on you. What does that mean? It means you are the patient. You can only lie on the operating table. After the anesthetic, you won't move. Then I will just take the knife and cut wherever I want. I will pull wherever I say, hey, look, this is what we call surgery. This is the stark danger of nuclear power. Do you think we can avoid developing atomic bombs? If you create an atomic bomb, you still need to develop missiles, right? If you do not develop missiles, how are you going to reach his home? You can't get to his home. You just do not have nuclear threats. He will even threaten to use nuclear weapons on you. And this kind of threat is not just empty talk. He really would do it. Some say it's not that governed by international law. Is there really international law in this world? If international law were effective. So now Aleppo is bombed. Palestinians, the common people, the children, the hospitals. They even targeted people from the United Nations. Has international law ever been enforced? It is a law without any enforcement power. It can only be called a slogan. So we must not be too naive, thinking that there is international law in the world. There are international moral constraints. Singh is just fooling around. Only a country's national defense can guarantee your safety. So you see, back in the 1950s, we were threatened by American nuclear power. At first, we thought it was fine. We had the Soviet big brother protecting us. It should be okay. Let us develop the economy. Alright, as the saying goes, if you rely on the mountains may collapse. If you rely on people, they might run away. You rely on Big Brother. Big Brother just came over to talk to you with a stern face. Hey, let us form a joint fleet. You can leave your navy to me. Let me command it for you. I built the radar station right at your home. A submarine base, a military base, also built some at your home. See, am I protecting you? Don't you have to give something in return? Do you think you agreed to this? Then in history, I have never been anyone's vassal before. That means even the foreign garrison is basically our troops stationed in their land. So can you tolerate this? Of course I would not agree. But if you just refuse, they will turn hostile. If you refuse, why should I protect you? There is no love without reason in this world. If you are not willing to cooperate with me, you will become an obstacle blocking my access to Asia's outlet. So just look. What followed was the Soviet Union's nuclear bluff. Nuclear threats, just look. Is not that exactly the process? Some of them might just refuse to accept it. So you are saying that is not right. Why does it seem like Singh is always fighting with people? Look at other countries. Fighting is good. Just look at South Korea and Japan. Aren't they just developing their economies? And then there is Singh, Thailand, and Singapore. Then why are not they afraid of nuclear threats? Look at the people who say these things. They are still uneducated. Now take a look at those Asian countries that are developing well. Aren't they all occupied by troops? Some people might have a different opinion. I know that Japan and South Korea are occupied by Americans. Those countries have become second-class citizens. Is Singapore also garrisoned? If you have to ask that, it just shows how out of touch you are. Singapore currently has 4 U.S. military bases. Paya Lebar Air Base, Zhangyi Naval Base, Zhangyi Air Base, Sembawang Naval Base. These 4 bases together have over 1,000 U.S. troops. And they are equipped with F-35s and F-46s. Just these 4 U.S. military bases perfectly control Singapore's politics, economy, and policies. That is why we are so uneasy about the Strait of Malacca. It is not that we do not trust the Singaporeans, but rather are concerned about these 4 U.S. military bases. Some might say that there should not be any U.S. troops stationed in Thailand. Well, you need to look at history. Before 1973, the U.S. had a large military presence in Thailand. Not only were there troops, but there were also bomber bases. Back then, during the Vietnam War, most of the U.S. Air Force bombers took off from Thailand. If it were not for Nixon's visit to China in 1972, we would not have been able to urge them to quickly stop the Vietnam War. The U.S. troops also would not have withdrawn from Thailand. In August 1973, look at the Thai people now. Why do they worship the monarchy so much? They have a special respect for the royal family, so they still think that it was their king who drove out the American troops. Can you imagine that? Does King Singh have superpowers? Right. It was Chairman Mao who drove out the American troops in Thailand, not King Singh. Even so, take another look at Thailand. Right now, it still has U.S. troops stationed there. It is just that the numbers are particularly small. Currently, the U.S. troops in Thailand are mainly concentrated at the embassy. There are Marines inside the embassy, And there is another one. It is the Armed Forces Medical Research Institute. Think about it. The U.S. set up such a department in Thailand. They actually established this unit there. And it is called the Armed Forces Medical Research Institute. Just hearing that makes people uneasy. You have to realize that is a disguised military presence. So you need to look at how the economically strong countries in Asia developed during those years. What are the prerequisites? What do you have to give up? Give up sovereignty. Only then will you have economic development. The U.S. demands your livelihood. Look at the Asian financial crisis in the 1990s. Who was hit the hardest? It was Thailand. The Thai baht was worthless back then. Why was that? Because I had too few troops stationed. You were not obedient enough. Then I would destroy you even more thoroughly. See, this is the true nature of the world. Just think about those scholars. Wearing glasses, huh? Can write a poem. Can draw a picture. Can write a novel. Other nonsense. They do not understand. And then they start criticizing the country. Back then, we should have maintained good relations with the Soviet Union. We should not have been so aggressive and defensive. We should have started developing the economy back in the 1960s. We have been rich for a long time. These bastards are uneducated. TSGT sta. These bastards are uneducated. These bastards are uneducated. TSGT. Tack. These bastards are uneducated. Alright. Enough. I feel better after cursing. Let us get back to talking about our missiles. Hey look, I remember this time talking about July 1966. After our Xingdangfang 2 was successfully launched, then we saw that it was not enough. Although it is a ballistic missile, and it was armed with nuclear weapons, it could not threaten mainland America. It does not pose a threat to Moscow either. Then they can target us at any time, and they might become even more decisive. Why is that? After all, you have grown. You are a formidable presence now. You need to be like the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia. He does not have strong ambitions. He is comfortably sitting in the last row of the class, so there is no threat. But in China, they are unwilling to fall behind. They are determined to restore the glory of China from back in the day. They are set on achieving the prosperity of the Han and Tang dynasties. They want to become a developed country in the world, still wanting to stand on equal footing with the great powers. Do you think that does not count as a threat? Since you are a threat, the best approach is to strike first. Before you grow strong enough, we start targeting you. And then, right after that, in 1969, the Soviet Union attacked our Zhenbao Island, and we ended up beating them up. Back then, the Soviet Union was quite introverted. They said, hey, you Panda, you dare to fight back. Usually, when I hit someone, no one dares to fight back. You are the first, alright? You Panda. Just look, I do not even need to use nuclear missiles to blow you up. It was in 1969. That furious Malbear started banging on the table, threatening to launch nuclear missiles. I can't mess with that. Are you a panda? Look how scary this is. If there are nuclear missiles, they will attack us. It is said we need to visit all the large and medium-sized cities of the panda family. What should we do about nuclear cleanup in Sing? Even the immortals are at a loss. We are just not as skilled. All we can do is take the beating. So there is nothing we can do. We can only evacuate. What do you think about this kind of evacuation? He still can't raise the alarm. You can't just grab a loudspeaker and shout, everyone, run. The Soviets are going to bomb us. If I do that, would not it cause panic? Exactly, so we have to take it slow. First, move the industrial base to the third line. This is what we call the construction of the third line of resources. To put it simply, it is about relocating Sing's industrial base to third-tier cities in Sing. To avoid nuclear strikes, the industrial base in Xing is moved there, and the workers from Sing move as well. That is what he said, just like that. The entire country is being evacuated, and the leaders will evacuate too. At that time, Zhou, Lai Tai, and Dong Bue evacuated to Guangzhou. Ye Jianying, Marshal Yi, evacuated to Hunan. Chen Yun and Wang Zhen evacuated to Jiangxi. Mi Rongzhen and Chen Yi evacuated to Hebei. Comrade Xingliu Shaoqi was seriously ill. He evacuated to Kaifeng. Why did Xing evacuate to Kaifeng in Henan? They say that place had heating. The conditions were a bit better. You see, I am not just making this up. Everyone can go and see for themselves. The ruins are still preserved. That is nothing like what some people say about the situation back then. What about Comrade Deng Xiaoping? He was evacuated to Nanchang, Jiangxi. Comrade Jing Taozhu had evacuated to Hefei Anhui. Xing Linbia went into a cave, and they were ready to fight at any time. But think about it, that just is not enough. What if the Soviet Union launched a nuclear attack after Sing's strike. Sing, after several years of nuclear radiation, the Chinese land was completely cut off from life. Sing, after all, has that bear's temper. He always keeps his word, never bluffing or pretending. At that time, the world's onlookers had their mouths stretched to their ears, especially Xing, America, watching the show. Huh? That grizzly and that panda are about to fight. I heard they are going nuclear. With all this noise, are not you basically doing a live broadcast? Sunflower seeds, beer, and drinks. Bring them all here, but in the end, the beauty was just cracking sunflower seeds. Someone is reporting outside. Reporting in. Chairman Mao from the Panda family has sent you a telegram. De Peng was stunned. A bad premonition crept into his mind. He thought, at this moment, if you do not hide in the air raid shelter, what kind of telegram are you sending me? Without hesitation, he reached out and took the telegram. Gee, when I opened it up, I almost swallowed the sunflower seed shell. It says here I heard that the bear wants to fight me or attack me with nuclear missiles. In that case, my country can't stay here anymore. I do not want to stay either. Then our nuclear missiles are useless too. Since they are useless, before we leave, I will launch them all. I will take out all your military bases in Asia. All of them. After all, our missile range is short. But it can reach your bear. Can't reach it. Forget about Sing. What about our plan? It is to crawl out of the air raid shelter. After a nuclear strike, half the people die, but there would still be 300 million left, since our country has been attacked by the river, and the river has polluted the sun. Then we shall leave. We will head north into the Siberian plain. Then we will split into two groups. One group will head west, 960 head straight for Moscow, and continue eastward, across the Bering Strait, to settle in your Alaska. Anyway, you Alaskans have plenty of land and not enough people. Your place is empty anyway. We can help you develop it. Wow, this is really beautiful. I went crazy after reading this letter. I thought, what the heck? What kind of logic is this? I am just here for the show. You are launching nuclear missiles. Why are you targeting me? What I gather from you is that after you finish off my base in Asia, just go to my Alaska. If someone else said that, I would not believe it. But if you, Chairman Mao, said it, I would definitely believe it. First, you always do what you say. Second, you have done the long march before. You have been through it yourself. You know all about long journeys. I am going to split 300 million troops into two routes. One route will need 150 million. In the Second World War a few years ago, the total number of participants worldwide was less than 30 million. Goodness, how are you going to deal with me? Come on. Can I possibly withstand this? Alright, even if I grit my teeth and step on it, I do not want Alaska anymore. Take a look at the map. You see, Alaska runs from north to south, a flat plain all the way to Mexico. Except for that mountain range along the west coast, the rest are all vast plains. After your 150 million people occupy Alaska, attack from north to south. With my army skills, we are definitely going to annihilate the nation. This is great. Seeing this makes me jump up. That feeling of just watching vanished in an instant. Quick, pick up that phone. So they called that bear. As soon as the bear picked up the phone, the soldier started cursing. You bear. You do not mess with the goods on the ground. You mess with what is in the sky. Are you trying to hit that panda? Or a nuclear missile? The bear was stunned. Yeah, he is impulsive and reckless. If he hits me, I will definitely hit him back. You big fool. Are you just watching the joke? You want to see a joke? Stay away from me. I will stab you full of blood. That big fool shouted into Sing's microphone. Oh, bear, I am warning you. If you dare to blow up that panda, I will blow you up with that tea table. Sigh, that hairy bear over there, hearing this, thinks something's wrong. Why has the tone changed? Did Xingda Pyongyang get involved with that panda? Do they have a thing going on? Xingda Pyongyang is furious, telling you to get lost. Do you know the panda's plan? He said that as long as you launch a nuclear missile and blow him up, then the panda will launch a nuclear missile to destroy my military base. That hairy bear was so happy when he heard that. Alright then. Xing Daping cursed, what nonsense. After he blows me up, the remaining people will be alive. At least 300 million people will rush into your Siberia. Then they will split into two groups. One will attack your Moscow, and the other will strike my Alaska. I ask you, can you stop them? Speaking of which, the bear was stunned, Realizing the seriousness of the situation, I am relying on these 150 million people to fight Moscow. You say I could spray bullets with a machine gun, but I would not finish them off. I can't launch nuclear missiles in my own country. Just to blow up these 15, with my Soviet Union having such a small population, I might even get annexed. This bear is deep in thought. That big beauty is getting up over there. I am saying, you damn bear, now is not the time for you to think. You need to understand. I do not care if you live or die, but I can't lose my Alaska. If you dare launch that nuclear missile at the Panda, will that Panda's nuclear missile be enough? My nuclear missiles can reach you. That is it. Calm down for me. Say the last sentence again. You can mess with the goods on the ground all you want, but do not mess with Chairman Jingmao. That is just how it is. In 1969, we were safe and sound. Look at me when I was little. Back in 1986, I saw our hometown cinema on the bulletin board at the back. There was a newspaper from 1969 posted. It was about how to evacuate when you see nuclear missiles, like dropping to the ground to seek safety. I swear I saw it with my own eyes. At that time, I thought, they say that nuclear war should not happen. Why were newspapers constantly writing about nuclear war back then? It seemed like it could happen at any moment around us. I was young at that time. I did not know this part of history. Looking back now, the reason you think about nuclear war, it can't possibly happen around you. That is because we now have nuclear retaliatory capability, so you think a nuclear war will never happen. But one day, when we no longer have the ability to retaliate with nuclear weapons, nuclear bombs could explode above your head at any moment. So you see, how important is national defense? By 1969, the nuclear crisis was considered over, but after all, that was just a temporary measure. If we place our hope in a single telegram, that would be too reckless. The real solution can only come from having a weapon with a range capable of reaching the United States, and the strategic nuclear missiles from Moscow. So, the Dongfang 5 is our ultimate stabilizing force. In fact, this Dongfang 5, it is not that we only thought of it after 1969, but on March 20th, 1965, we had already included the Dongfang 5 in the DD Missile Development Plan. Look at this, the plan from 1965 to 1972. It already states that we need to develop the Dongfang 2A, which is a medium-range ballistic missile, and also the Dongfang 3 medium-range ballistic missile, as well as the Dongfang 4 medium to long-range missile, and the Dongfang 5 intercontinental ballistic missile. In other words, within these 8 years, we need to develop these. Think about it, 8 years to develop 4 missiles, and all 4 are strategic level missiles. Is that even possible? Definitely not. When it comes to scientific research, Xing Beijing, you can't take shortcuts. No matter how hard the comrades work, they simply can't break the laws of nature. So when did we finally succeed in developing our intercontinental missiles? Let us talk about that in the next segment. We will discuss it further later.